All right, shalom. Yahweh Shimei Shabbat Thumb. So all the Akim out there, Yahweh Shema Thumb by Shimei, shout out all the Akrathim out there. This is the Sabbath service, September, this is the 20th, 2025 for Baltimore. All right, we're going to get right into it. We are in the book of Leviticus. We're in Leviticus chapter 14. We've been reading about the laws of leprosy and the different laws of leprosy and what you had to do. And the priest had to determine whether you were clean or unclean and could come back into the camp. All right, and we're going to continue to talk through the various clean and unclean laws in the book of Leviticus. Right? This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 14. We're reading 25 through 31 in the Hebrew. Leviticus chapter 14, verse 25. 25 through 31. Right. Kat, Kabat, Asham, Walakat, Hakahan, Badam, Asham, Wanathan, Al, Sana Wak, Azan, Mata, Hamata, Tahar. Haya yam yak wa'a bahan yadwa hayama na yak wa'a bahan ragalwa hayam na yak. Verse 26. Waman hashaman yatazak hakahan kat hakahan hashama yas. Verse 27. Bahazah, Hakahan, Ba'atazabaiwa, Yamanayas, Man, Hashaman, Ashar, Al, Katwa, Hashamaoyas, Shabai, Ha'anyam, Lapanya, Yahweh, verse 28. Wanathan, Hakahan, Man, Hashaman, Ashar, Al, Kapwa. Katwas like Al, Sana Wak, Azan, Hamatahar, Hayamanayat, Wa'a, Wahan, Yadwa, Hamanayat, A'a, Wahan, Ragalwa, Hamanayat, Al, Makwawam, Dum, Ha'asham, verse 29, Waha Nawathar, Man, Hashaman, Ashar, Al, Kat, Hakahan, Yatan, Al, Ra'as, Hatama, Hamatahar, Lakapar, Alyawa, Lapanya, Yahweh. Verse 30. Wa'aisha, Akkad, Man, Hatharium, Awa, Man, Bunya, Hayawana, Bashar, Fasha Yag Yadwa, verse 31. Ashar, Fasha Yag Yadwa, Ta'akha, Kata Wa Ta'akha, Al Allah, Al Hamanacha, Wakapar, Hakahan, Al Hamatahar, Lapanya Yahweh, and that's it. Now we're going to be reading Leviticus chapter 14, 25 through 31 in the English.
Leviticus chapter 14, verse 25. And he shall, verse 25, and he shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering and put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. Verse 26, and the priest shall pour of the oil into the palm of his own left hand. Verse 27, and the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before the Lord. Verse 28, And the priest shall put of the oil that is in his hand upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the place of the blood of the trespass offering. Verse 29. And the rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand, he shall put upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, to make atonement for him before the Lord. Verse 30. And he shall offer the one of the turtle doves, or of the young pigeons, such as he can get. Verse 31. Even such as he is able to get, the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering, the meat offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed before the Lord. That's it.
All right. We're going to go ahead and continue here. We're in the book of Leviticus, chapter 14. We're reading verses 32 through 38. Okay. In the Hebrew.
Leviticus chapter 42. Leviticus chapter 14, verse 32. Za'ah, Damarah, Ashar, Wa, Nagad, Tazara'ite, Ashar, La'ah, Tashiyah, Yadwa, Bataharakwa, verse 33. Wayidabar, Yahawah, O, Mashah, O, Aharon, La'amar, verse 34. Kaya, Daba'awa, Al, Arataza, Kana'ain, Ashar, Anya, Nathan will come like a zah. When I thought you, and a guy, what's that? When not the year.
That's I couldn't that. Well, not fight. Coming up.
Not the year. The guy says a right, but the guy, a ratasa. Akazak, verse 35. So, sure, wa, habiyah, or hadiyah, like a hun, la mar, kana ain, nara'ai, la ya, habiyah, verse 36. But yet says a wa, hun, wa punwa, habiyah, but to rum, yaba hakahun, lara wa, hana guy, wala yata ma'a, call, ashar, babaya, wa akar, kun, yaba hakahun, lara awa, habaya, there's 37. Hana guy, wahana, hana guy, but the Yarath, Habaya, Shakwa Ra, Shaka Arawa, Yarak Ramquat, Awa, Adama Dama, Omara'at, Omara, Omara, Yahan, Shapal, Man, Hakuyar, verse 38. Oh, yes, as Gahan, Man, Habiyah, Al, Fatha, Habiyah, Wahasab, Wahasabya, Habiyah, Shaba'ai, Yum Yum, and that's it.
And I'm reading Leviticus chapter 14, verses 32 to 38 in the English. Leviticus chapter 14, verse 32. This is the law of him who is the plague of leprosy, whose hand is not able to get that which pertaineth to his cleansing. Verse 33. And the Most High spoke unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when ye be come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of the leprosy in the house of the land of your possession. Verse 35. And he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, it seems me there is as if it were a plague in the house. And this is kind of like talking about like how like mold outbreaks too. Verse 36, the priest shall command them that they empty the house before the priests go into it to see the plague, that all that is in the house be made not unclean. And afterward the priest shall go in to see the house. Verse 37, he shall look on the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house with hollow strakes, greenish or reddish, which in sight are lower than the wall. Verse 38, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house and shut it up the house for 7 days. And that's it. These are talking about like certain outbreaks, you know, like mold and other bacteria that can break out. Okay. There's different types of things that can break out even in your house. All right. We're now in the book of Leviticus, chapter 14, reading verses 39 through 45. We'll read verses 39 through 45 in the Hebrew. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 14, verse 39. Washab, Hakahan, Bayawam, Hashabayaya, Wa'ara, Wahana, Bashab, Hanagai, Bakaraya, Raf, Habaya, verse 40, 45, verse 40. Watazawa, Hakahan, Wakalatazawa, Af, Ha'aba Bunyam, Ashar, Bahan, Hanagai, Hashala Yakwa, Asahan, Al, Makawataza, La'ayar, Al, Makwawam, Tama'a, verse 41. Wa'af, Habaya, Yakwa Taza'ai, Mabaya, Sabaya, Washapakwa, Af, Haipar, Ashar, Tazawa, Al, Makawataza, La'ayar, Al, Makwawam, Tama'a, verse 32. Wala Kwakwa, Abanyam, Akarwas, Waha Awa, Al, Zakaf, Abanyam, Wa'ipar, Akar, Yakwak, Attack, Habaya, verse 43. Lost my place, slacking. Verse 43. Yashawab, Hanagai, Waparak, Babaya, Akar, Kalataza, Abanyam, Akaria, Aqua Tazawak, Habaya, Akaria, Hatawak, verse 44. Verse 44. Waba'a Hakahan, Wara'a, Wahana, Pesha, Hanagai, Babaya, Tazara'ai, Mama Araf, Hawa'a, Babaya, Taba'a, Hawa'a, verse 45. When Fats Taza, Habaya, Abanyawa, Wa'af, I taza yawa, wa'a, call, I par, habaya, waha, taza ya'a, all, makawataza, la ayar, all, makwawam, tama'a, and that's it. All right, well, now we're going to reading Leviticus chapter 14, 39 through 45. We're going to read that in the English.
Leviticus chapter 14, verse 39. And the priest shall come again the 7th day and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house, verse 40, then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which the plague is, and they shall cast them into an unclean place without the city. Verse 41, and he shall cause the house to be scraped within round about, and they shall pour out the dust that they scrape off without the city into an unclean place. So this is pretty much saying like you got, you know, like your Rob was saying, like you got mold or something like that. Whatever it is right now that they're scraping out, like say it's in your walls, you got to cut that out your house. You see what I'm saying? Cut it out, and then you find an unclean place for it outside of the city. away from your home where people can touch it and stuff like that, and then possibly spread it and bring it back into their homes. That's what that says. So verse 42. Verse 42. And they shall take the other stones and put them in the place of the stones. He shall take the other mortar and shall plaster the house. Verse 43. And if the plague come again and break out in the house after that he had taken away the stones, after he had scraped the house, and after it is plastered, verse 44, then the priest shall come and look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the house, it is a fretting leprosy in the house. It is unclean. Verse 45. And he shall break down the house, the stones of it, and the timber of it, and all the mortar of the house, and he shall carry them forth out of the city into an unclean place. The Lord said, listen, if it come back, priest inspect that. Listen, we're going to tear that whole house down. You see what I'm saying? We got to get rid of the whole house because, clearly there's something, and it presents a bigger problem for the whole community. You see what I'm saying? This is why the so-called white man, this is why he's he's the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? We grew up in these projects, we grew up in the burials, we grew up in these reservations, and a lot of these places are inhabitable. You see what I'm saying? You got mold growing out everywhere you can look. You got mold growing out. A lot of people, a lot of black kids suffer from what they call lead poisoning. You see what I'm saying? Where they eating the chips off the walls and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? It's full of lead. Those places should be torn down, man. Those places should be torn down. They are not inhabitable. And that's what we're reading about right now. Yeah, man. That was it. That was it? Come. All right.
All right. Now we're going to be reading Leviticus chapter 14. We're reading 46 through 52. We're reading the Hebrew, then in the English.
Leviticus chapter 14, verse 46. We'll have a yah called Yum Yah. Hasagayar, Athwa, Yatama'ai, Ha'ira, verse 47. Hashakab, Babiyah, Yakabas, Bagadiwa, Wahakal, Babiyah, Yakabas, Bagadiwa, verse 48. Wa'am, Ba'a, Yaba'a, Hakahan, Wara'a, Yahat, Wahana, La'a, Bashar, Hanagai, Babiyah, Akaria, Hatak, Habiyah, Utahar, Hakahun, Habiyah, Biyah, Nabapa'a, Hanagai, verse 49, Walakwa, Lakata'a, Habiyah, Shafya, Tazaparian, Wa'itazah, Araz, Washunya, Dabala'if, verse 50, Washakat, Hatazapar, Ha'akal, Kauya, Karash, Mayum, Kayayum, verse 51, Walakwa, Aitazah, Ha'araz, Ha'azar, Wa'a, Shunya, Hadawala'if, Hatazapar, Hakaya, Watabal, Athum, Badum, Hatazapar, Hashak, Wabamayum, Hakayayum, Wahazar, Habaya, Shabai, Ha'anyum, verse 52. Wakata'a, Habaya, Badum, Hatazap, Wabamayum, Hakayayum, Wabatazapar, Hakaya, Wabaitazah, Ha'araz, Waba'azah, Wabashunya, Hadawala'if. And that's it.
All right, we're going to go ahead and read Leviticus chapter 14, 46 through 52 in the Hebrew. The book of Leviticus chapter 14, verse 46. Moreover, he that goeth into the house all the while that is shut up shall be unclean until even. Okay, and you can get sick when you're around stuff that spreads like mold. You can get sick in there. So I tell you, if there's mold in your house and air, you can get away from that. It's the same thing was started in the Bible. Verse 47. And he that lieth in the house shall wash his clothes, and he that eateth in the house shall wash his clothes. I don't know if people have had experience with mold, but it can actually spread to your clothes, to your furniture. That stuff spreads. That's why I say you got to wash your clothes. Verse 48. And if the priest shall come in and look upon it, and behold, the plague have not spread in the house after the house has been plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. Verse 49. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. Verse 50. And he shall kill one of the birds in the earthen vessel over running water. Verse 51. And he shall take the cedar wood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird, and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. Verse 52. And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and with the running water, and with the living bird, and with the cedar wood, and with the hyssop, and with the scarlet, and with the scarlet. And that's it. All right. We're going to be reading Leviticus chapter 14, 53 through 57. And then we're going to jump to chapter 15, 1 through 2. Okay. This is the book of Leviticus chapter 14, verse 53 in the Hebrew. Washalak hatazapar hakaya makawataza la ayar punya hashada wakapar habaya watahar. Verse 54 is the hatha lakal nagai hatazara ice wala napak. Verse 55 wala tazara ice habagad wala bayat. Verse 56 wala sha'af wala sapakaf wala ba'aharas. Verse 57 lahawaras bayawam hatama'a wabayawam hatahar za'af sawaras satazara'if. Is the book of Leviticus chapter 15 verse 1. Wa yadabar Yahweh al Mashah wa al Aharon la Amar. Verse 2. Dabar wa al Bunya Yasha'ala wa Amar Ratham Awahum Ayash Kaya Yahaya Zab Basha Mabasharwa Zawabwa Tama'a Hawa'a. And that's it. All right, now we're going to be reading Leviticus chapter 14, 53 through 57, then jump to chapter 15, 1 through 2.
Leviticus chapter 14, verse 53. But he shall let go the living bird out of the city into the open fields, and make an atonement for his house, and it shall be clean. Verse 54. This is the law for all manner of plague of leprosy and scald. Verse 55. And for the leprosy of a garment and of a house. Verse 56. And for a rising, and for a scab, and for a bright spot. Verse 57. To teach when it is unclean, and when it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. Leviticus chapter 15, verse 1. And the Lord speaking to Moses and to Aaron, saying, verse 2, speaking to the children of Israel and saying to them, when any man have a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue, he is unclean.
All right, we're now going to be reading Leviticus chapter 15, 3 through 9. We're going to read that in the Hebrew, and then we'll read in the English.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 3. Was the Haya, Tama'athwa, was a Wabwa, Ra, Basharwa, Zawabwa, Awa, Hakathim, Basharwa, Mazawabwa, Tama'athwa, Awa, verse 4. Called Hamashakal, Ashar, Yeshakal, Alua, Hazah, Yetama'ah, Wakal, Akolia, Ashar, Yeshab, Aula, Yetama'ah, verse 5, Wa'ayash, Ashar, Yagai, Lumakashat, Mashakabwa, Yakabas, Bagadwa, Barakatazah, Bamayam, Yetama'ah, Ha'ira, verse 6, Hayashab, Al, Hakolia, Ashar, Yeshab, Aula, Hazab, Yakabas, Bagadwa, Barakatazah, Bamayam, Yetama'ah, Ha'ira, verse 7, Wahanagai, Bashar, Hazab, Yakabas, Bagadua, Barakatazah, Bamayam, Yetama'ah, Ha'ira, verse 8, Wahiyah, Yarak, Hazab, Habor, Wakabas, Bagadua, Barakatazah, Bamayam, Yetama'ah, Ha'ira, verse 9, Call Hamarakah, Ashar, Yarakah, Alua, Nazab, Yetama'ah, and that's it.
All right, we're going to be reading Leviticus chapter 15, 3 through 9 in the English. Leviticus chapter 15, verse 3. And this shall be his uncleanness and his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue or his flesh be stopped from his issue, it is his uncleanness. Verse 4, every bed wherein he lieth that hath the issue is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. And whoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean till the evening. Okay, so this is just pretty much the law. So if somebody is unclean and you touch them or touch whatever, then you're unclean until evening, until the evening. Like, so that time period, you are unclean until evening. Okay. All right. Verse 6, and he that sitteth on anything whereupon he sat, that hath the issue, shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until evening. Verse 7, and he that touches the flesh of him that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in issue and be unclean till evening. Verse 8, and he that hath the issue spit upon him and that is clean, then he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. Verse 9, and what saddle soever he rideth upon that have the issue shall be unclean. Verse 10, and whosoever touched anything that was, slack, right. Oh, and so I wanted to say, so, and people are like, well, why is the Most High so particular about this? You got to remember all the other nations, when they would serve their gods, they would serve their gods unclean. They would be unclean while they're serving their gods. Case in point, they would have the temple prostitution right in their temple.
Right.
Okay, so they would have the orgies and sleeping with the women in the temple, and they would sacrifice unto their gods, and they would sacrifice various unclean animals to their gods. So this is all the Most High was trying to make sure that he is not that God. He is not that power. He is to be set apart and treated differently, because all these other nations, that was part of their rituals. They have some type of uncleanness while they're doing a ritual in honor of their false gods. Okay, and then some of these rituals could even be sacrificial of children or other things like that. Okay, so sacrificial children, unlawful sex, all of this was a part of the rituals. Okay.
So if I could add to that too, and also, the Lord is worried about. He's worried about the congregation, man. He's worried about certain things that you may have going on within your body, potentially spreading to the rest of the congregation, and therefore causing the entire congregation to be sick or unwell. You see what I'm saying? Or unclean. You see what I'm saying? So the Lord is saying, if you got issue going on, just quarantine yourself. That's what it's about. Quarantine yourself so that you don't affect anybody else. Like during COVID, you see what I'm saying? During COVID was a perfect example. Like, if you had COVID, quarantine yourself so that everybody else don't catch it. So this is the same principle right here.
Yeah. This is all right. This is the last one. This is Leviticus chapter 15, 10 through 16. We're gonna read that in the Hebrew, then in the English.
I'll take this. Leviticus 15 and 10. Will call Hanagai, will call Ashar, Yahya, the Kafua, Yatama'a, I, Ha'ira, Ohana Wash, Ohana, it's like Ohana Basha, our thumb, Yakabas, Bagadua, Yarakataza, Omayam, Watama'a, I, Ha'ara, verse 11, call Ashar, Yagai, Bakwa, Hazah, Wayadua, La'a, Shatap, Omayam, Wakabas, Bagadua, Rakataza, Omayam, Watama'a, I, Ha'ira, verse 12, Wakolia, Rash, Ashar, Yagai, Wa, Hazah, Yashabar, Wakal, Kolia, Aitazah, Yashatap, Omayam, verse 13, Wakiyah, Yatahar, Hazah, Matawabia, Matawabwa, Wasapar, Wa, Shaba'ai, Yamya, Bataharafwa, Wakabas, Bagadua, Rakataza, Basharwa, Ramayam, Kayayam, Watahar, verse 14, will be a woman, Hashemayanya, Yakwak, Lawa, Shakya, Debayam, Awa, Senya, Bunya, Yawana, Waba'al, Punya, Yahawa, Al, Bathak, Ahol, Mawa'ai, Winatha Num, Al, Hakahan, verse 15, Wa'aisha, Athum, Hakahan, Akkad, Kata'ah, Akkad, Ailah, Wakapar, Aliwa, Hakahan, Lapanya, Yahawa, Mezawaba, verse 16, Wa'ayash, Kaya, Lataza'ah, Abanwa, Shakabah, Zerai, Urakataza, Bamayam, Av, Kal, Bashara, Wataba'a, I, Ha'ira, and that's it.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and read the last one. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 15. We're reading verses 10 through 16 in the English. Leviticus chapter 15, verse 10. And whosoever touches anything that was under him shall be unclean until even. And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until even. Okay, and that's like, the going down of the sun. Verse 11. And whosoever he touches that have the issue and have not rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until even. Verse 12. And the vessel of earth that which he touches, which have the issue, shall be broken, and every vessel of the wood shall be rinsed in water. Verse 13. And when he that hath an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean. All right. And it's 7 days because, like I said, you have to be examined those 7 days. Okay, it's just the same thing. COVID should make you help you to understand these scriptures a lot better. Verse 14. And on the 8th day he shall take to him 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, and come before the Most High to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and give them unto the priest. And we talked about this last week. More than likely, the priest that he's giving it to is a priest that he knows. Okay, the way you can think about it is think about your captain of your area. Because remember, the priest had to go to the head priest and all the chief priests, the high priests and all the chief priests and all of them, and he had to pronounce you. He had to vouch for you and say that you're clean. Okay, this brother did have an issue, but now he's clean, because then they were going to allow you to come back into the congregation of the camp. Okay, So it's not, a lot of times it might not, random priests, probably a priest that they knew. Because remember, the priests, when they were not at the tabernacle temple, they were they were scattered, okay, throughout the land of Israel. Verse 15. And the priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. And there's a reason probably why he knew that priest, because the priest would have to bear that burden. Okay, and that's why he would give the sin offering. Okay, but his reward was he got to eat of that. Okay, and the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Most High for his issue. Verse 16, and if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh and water and be unclean until even. And that's it. This is just to remind everybody that tomorrow, 7 p.m., is the first feast of the 7th month, which is the first day of the 7th month tomorrow, which is memorial of blowing of trumpets. Please come out to Baltimore if you're in the area, 3430 East Avenue. Of course, this is talking to Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives. Come and enjoy the feast and learn about why we keep the feast. We'll be going over Leviticus chapter 23, which explains why we are to keep the feast. So please come out, enjoy the food, and we are supposed to rejoice this time. So, also if you're able, take off on Monday. We start the feast on Sunday night. Monday we are commanded to rest. So no servile work per se. So if you are able to get off, take that day off. Right.
Thanks a lot. Just to add to that too, if your slavery won't allow you to get off and you have to work, that will fall on them. So don't feel bad if you can't get the day off and you can't, and you're not able to, that won't fall on you. So just keep that in mind as well.
Right. And with that, just the people up here.
La Yasha Allah.
Men of Israel, Imadium. Men of Israel, gird up thy loins and prepare to salute the Torah. Yeah, that's in that shop right there. How about you know, shut up? Yeah.
How about you know, shut up? Yeah. Just wait.
Also, I'll go ahead.
For everybody at Mahdi, walking Yahoo Padam, which means rise and face the east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, then in English, the Lord's Prayer. Abba, Shabbat Shemai, Shabbat Shemai, Shabbat I know. Gonna say it more. Ball. I'm shining out. I'm rock. The cup. I'm a lock. I'm running in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Saw, which means turn. This concludes the service. Men of Israel, we're going to give a warm courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Mahdi Shabbat, and Mahdi, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah, Yadimata, class dismissed. Well, yeah.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man, if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please go to isubk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West.